Hello, this is Jeffrey T. Fertiller. Welcome back to our YouTube channel, Service Management Leadership. Today's video is part 6 in our series on ITIL Release and Deployment Management, adapted from the BMC white paper on the BMC ITSM Toolmaker website. And as we get started, I want to remind you to look in the description below for a link to playlists on related topics, service transition, and release and deployment management. And so let's talk about the key phases to release and deployment management according to ITIL. And we're only going to get into the first one in this video. In the next 3 videos, we'll talk about the other 3. But ITIL defines release and deployment management, or divides it into 4 phases. And we're going to talk about a thorough release and deployment planning. And this planning is huge in terms of the success of your release and deployment management process. A well thought out release and deployment plan is just one component of our service transition plan, but the goal or the point is to clearly define a set of guidelines for both what a release will include and how we'll deploy it into production. The release and deployment plan is then approved as part of the change management process. Many organizations don't do it this way, but it's great in terms of theory. And so you'll hear me say as a disclaimer that I don't always agree with the BMC methodology in terms of their interpretation, but it's a great point of view. It is awesome to have the release and deployment plan approved by your change management process. It just doesn't always work that way. Many organizations have other approval mechanisms for this. Neither is right, neither is wrong. And so at the beginning of this planning phase, change management typically authorizes this planning process to begin for a release. This plan typically addresses what changes will be included in the release, who will be affected or impacted by the release, what the risk the release may introduce to our production environment, the audience for the release, what users, business customers, organizations will be impacted. Number 5, a clear chain of approval, clarifying which stakeholders may authorize the change requests at every stage of the release. Next, ownership, defining the team who is ultimately responsible for the release. And lastly, the deployment schedule and strategy for the release. It's very common to have different approvals and different authorizations for each of these stage gates, but it's a great thought to move yourself to the point where you're worried more about minimizing impact than you are which of these we can skip. And so I'm one of those people who thinks change management should not be minimized as much as it is. And so many organizations skip through this phase, and it's not always happy endings. This is Jeffrey T. Fertiller. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel. Please like or share the video, subscribe to our channel, leave me feedback below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm easy to spot with the name like Jeffrey T. Fertiller. I hope you have a great day. Bye.